Hello, everybody. This is Joe Mikulak, and this is my final blended learning project for ACTE 635. So I'll start off with the table of contents here. Basically, I'm going to hit these 9 areas. I don't want to read through them word for word just because I'm pressed for time with this presentation, but we're going to do all these different areas that you see here in front of you. Okay. My first question to you is this. Do you feel that today in education we are still teaching to an outdated traditional factory based system, which leaves us stuck playing catch up both academically and financially? I know sometimes in my school district and in my teaching classrooms, sometimes I have that opinion. So, as far as the Horn and Staker resource that we've been looking through this entire semester in this summer course, yeah, I would say today's schools are reaching their tipping point in education. Next, introduction to my blended learning experience. Here's what I have. Basically, I made this word map up of all the different things that I have learned so far in this class throughout the semester that we've been doing here this summer. And pretty much I made this little web here to show you all the different things that came to mind in regards to the things that I have learned and all the different areas of blended learning topics that we covered. Next, my SMART goals. This is pretty much one of the first major projects that we had to do. In Module 4, we had to identify our focus and examine how blended learning hybrid options can offer opportunities for instructors to meet their goals and solve larger problems. So pretty much what I did is I developed a SMART goal based on what I wanted to solve and what was a problem in my class. And I used a SMART goal template to follow along to keep me, in line with how to achieve this the most successful way. So what is SMART? Well, it has to be a goal that's specific, measurable, assignable, realistic, and time related. So we're going to refer back to this in a moment. Now, I have a lot of information on here. I'm going to just give you some of the highlights. So my first core opportunity that I wanted to solve was there's not enough time typically in our tech ed classes for a portion where we go back and we reflect and we analyze, what we've learned and take it to the next level of higher order thinking. And that's a problem that I've had for many years now, and I'd like to try to work with that. So is it measurable? How would I measure it? I would say I'm going to design a follow-up assignment that basically allows the students to reflect upon, how they did with the project, and they'll be able to, just find ways that they kind of improved upon their project, and they'll present this information through some type of media. Not sure if it's going to be a presentation or a Google presentation or a video. Now, next would be, is it assignable? I would be fully in charge of this. So it is definitely something that I would have to follow through on to make sure that the students are actually doing this. For the R, which is realistic, yes, my plan here is definitely realistic and it can be easily achieved. I would just have to go back and edit some of the unit scheduling and the scope and sequence to make it fit in. As far as time related, can I realistically achieve this during the first school year? I would say yes, I definitely would be able to. Next, for a non-consumption opportunity, basically when I narrowed it down from my 3 choices as well, I think that the biggest problem in our school or in our tech ed classrooms that we have is there's not a lot of opportunities for educational field trips. Okay, so that was for the S part in SMART. Is it measurable? Yeah, so I'd have to present this issue to the school principal and technology directors to see if I can propose a way to go ahead and allow us to have or find ways to have field trips, whether it's in the local community or even bringing people in to the school system. Is it assignable? Yes, it is. It would ultimately be my responsibility to lead this effort. As far as it being realistic, I would say, yeah, it's definitely something that's realistic. I think we definitely would be able to have people coming into the school system, at least for a field trip, if not going out to the local community. And then as far as the time factor goes, is it time related? I would say, yeah, I can probably do this within, I would say, the first half of the school year. So that is my SMART goals that I wanted to address. Moving on, we're on section 3, which is blended learning. All right. So the blended learning model that I chose was station rotation. And it's based off of the rotation of students going from a digital curriculum station to a direct instruction station to a collaboration and project-based learning station. And then just some other highlights here. It's small group format within a large class, which is a positive. It's versatile. It offers dynamic learning stations. I will be able to do some differentiation of instructions now that I'll be going into this format of blended learning. It increases the opportunities for engagement and allows more time for me to directly work with the students. How does it apply to my class? Well, here's a whole bunch of information on how it applies. And I can kind of just go over a couple of them with you so that we can move on here. Okay. So the students will be able to access a portion of the online digital and engineering curriculum at each of the solo online state workstations. It'll be based off the rotation format, which is what I talked about earlier. It would allow me to directly work with students. Yes. I would be able to go ahead and help them out with the reflection analysis portion of the curriculum, which I talked about earlier in my SMART goal. As far as presenting the individual projects that they'll be working on, this station rotation will allow me to help introduce them and work with them throughout the process. It's a collaborative way of students to learn the content material, and it does provide engagement. Okay, so as you can see, station rotation will positively shape and promote strong classroom and school culture in our tech ed and engineering classes. All right, up next, section 5, my classroom layout. This was pretty cool where we had to go ahead and look at our classrooms. So I have here, too often when schools lead with the mentality of the technology rather than the consideration of the purpose, that can be an issue when developing or designing a blended program. And I felt like Horn and Staker really hit home on that point. As far as Module 6 goes, I learned how to go ahead and evaluate my physical structure floor plan in my room and how to set it up so that it best fits our blended learning station rotations format. Okay, and how to use my lab area in a way that supports this. Okay, now here's some of the highlights. Basically, I'll have 6 work tables where there'll be 4 students per table. I will have like one-on-one Chromebooks there for the students to use, electrical power cords. There's a Wi-Fi hub center in the center of the classroom, which will be easily accessible for all students. My class, we work with a lot of tools and machines, so they'll be located throughout the room. Student storage lockers are located along the sides of the room and also at the workstations. And then my job is basically to really be a strong, motivated facilitator. Up next, I want to talk about blended tools. So in this course, we learned about how to select blended tools the appropriate way. So on here I have, when selecting technology tools for a blended learning program, as teachers move forward from a traditional classroom to a blended learning model, we must be mindful of selecting tools that allow the flow of information, communication, and collaboration, and also creation in one learning medium, either in class or online, and extend it seamlessly into each other. It is only when various learning mediums are woven together that the blended learning model is most effective. So in Blended Learning in Action Text by Tucker, Wyckoff, and Green, I really thought that was a quote that really stood out for me, and I felt it was very true. Okay, so when evaluating blended tools, also in this text, I used the evaluation rubric that was in there, and this is what I came up with. What you see here is all different types of technology tools that I will be using, or blended learning tools that I will be using for next year. Some of the more important ones are highlighted in yellow. You'll see them there. And I don't want to get into two of them too much because I'm running out of time here, but I did go into several of these during this course and the modules that we were working under. Okay. Up next, design considerations, student roles, and expectations. As far as Horn and Staker, when designing and motivated, engaging blended program, when the schools get the design right from the student's perspective, they feel that school aligns well with things that matter to them, and students show up to school motivated and eager to learn. I felt like that was 100% a true comment and really, really hit home to me as well. So in Module 5, basically we had to go ahead and look at what are the teacher's roles and student roles in this station rotation classroom. So I came up with my roles, which would be to be a motivated facilitator, to foster growth, to give clear expectations, to create displays of all digital posters and tech, troubleshooting issues that might occur, my behavior policy, and a description of the classes, that kind of stuff. I need to offer a joyful and intrinsically motivating and engaging workspace. I also need to incorporate the NC standards into my curriculum, give students a choice, form strong relationships, provide prompt feedback, and obviously be the one that rallies the cry. Okay, so those are just some of my roles. Some of the student roles, well, they need to take ownership in their own learning. They need to have fun with one another while learning. They need to follow my class rules and expectations, be mindful, and know how to use all the digital posters that I have created for them to use. They also need to be kind and respectful. And then some of the other ones on the side there, they also need to go ahead and follow along. As far as looming questions, what questions do I still have around blended learning? Well, basically I have four. Will the implemented station rotation model be too much to manage for myself? Also, in the future, will I realistically be able to purchase an LMS for the online learning station? Will I stay away, or my bad, will I stray away from this newly created blended learning model and maybe migrate toward a different model? And then the last one there is, will this blended learning model fit in well with my current technology and engineering projects? Those are questions that I still have. Last, the ahas. Basically, for that, I had three that I can come to mind. I'm sure there's more, but that's what I came up with. So, first one is how important and how related the ITSE standards are in conjunction with the jobs to be done theory of blended learning. I thought they really fit well with one another, and that was really something that really I related to. Next one, how about a majority of the module resources in the books and all the things that we were going through in this grad course, how it showed the growth of blended learning and the many schools that are having successful programs and results from it. Also, the last one is how important it is for everyone who is involved in the educational process to realistically take a step back and ask yourself, are we offering students a blended learning experience or just one from a traditional approach? So those are three big ahas. Last, I leave you with this. 73% of teens have a smartphone, and 92% of teens report going online daily. So Tucker, Wyckoff, and Green say that the growing number of teens with devices and access to the internet means that students have access to limitless amounts of information, applications, and online resources. When harnessed properly, these can be powerful tools for learning. And that kind of sums up where we're at with this blended learning station rotation final project here that I'm giving you today. So I kind of thought that those numbers really stuck out to me and they caught my attention. I hope you like my final project. Take care. It was a fun class. Have a great summer, guys. And I look forward to seeing you on the D2L. Have a good day.